Welcome to today's live on Ekwa Television Africa. My name is Joyce Iyakwari, and this program is coming to you live from Ekwa Television, and we are also on Facebook at Ekwa Television and also on YouTube. So we will need you to drop your comment even as we start the discussion. Today we shall be looking at the topic Nigeria's democracy, how far we've come, what it means in the entirety of definition of democracy, and every other thing we shall look at on the show today. I have with me Sambo Solomon and Lois Turaki on set.
Good morning. Good morning.
And together we shall be doing this program together. But before we go ahead, I would like to define what democracy is. Democracy is a system of government in which laws, policies, leadership, and major undertakings are directly or indirectly decided by the people. So it simply means power to the people, by the people, and for the people, which is simply defined, and it has been defined so many times, even from I know earlier in our secondary school days, till this stage where students are given such definitions. And it can also mean a form of government in which the common people hold political power and can rule either directly or through elected representatives. So democracy is just a government ruled by the people. So people can be elected into positions, represented by the people that they are elected into, and walk through the welfare of the people, or even considering a lot of other things in governing the people. So simply that's what democracy is. And today we shall be looking at democracy in Nigeria. That's the Nigeria's democracy. Have we been practicing it? And if yes, how far have we gone with it? And if we have failed even as a country? And that's our topic for today on today's live. And we want you to send in your contributions on the topic so that we can take it, because the topic is timely and we want to see how your opinions too will matter on the show and analyze everything as it should be. So I would like to ask my co-host on the show today, what I've defined democracy, but do you think Nigeria has been practicing democracy?
Nigeria has, will I call it a partial democracy? It has been, because we've seen from the definition you have given, we've seen the meaning of democracy. It's that empowers the people to exercise political control. It limits the power of the head of state, provides for separation of powers between governments, entities, and ensures the protection of natural rights and civil liberties. And then we've seen how things have really not taken shape in that direction concerning the issue of how democracy has been in the country, Nigeria. We've seen, even from the first election that took place, it wasn't really that good. Like, when you go deep into the story, I know we're going to get to that later, so I don't want to dwell on that. But then we've seen a lot of things: the right to life, the right to freedom of speech, the right, what the democracy has given us. We have not really been enjoying it in the country. Looking at the lives of people that are being taken, people are not even allowed to worship the God or the religion they choose they want to do. That's the right to whatever belief you want. That is not really what is happening in the country. So what I think is, democracy has not really been practicing in Nigeria.
Well, for me, I would say, because putting that definition out there, is well explained. You can say a common man can just speak it up there and then analyze, and then he don't need to struggle. He will tell you whether we are practicing democracy or not in Nigeria. But my own opinion, I would say, when it comes to the name and the general definition globally, I would say we're in democracy. But when you come to the nitty-gritty, those components that define what really democracy is I would say no. Because when you look at it, when you say power now to the people, simply put, in summary, because it is a system of government that people are involved in every decision. But if you look at it from our own end here, you know, there are, we can't say that everything that is happening, you know, in our democratic system, that people are involved. It's just that you will say a few component, you know, or you say a few group of people that are really, really enjoying the democracy. So you can more or less say we are practicing dictatorship or military rule in disguise in the name of democracy.
Okay, for me, if it is my personal opinion, I would say yes, Nigeria is a democratic nation, but just like you said, we are practicing the military or dictatorship kind of government. And this is my reason. It is a democratic nation because we have some characteristics that look like democracy. More like, okay, which I would like to read them out. We have the practice of election, that's we elect our representatives. Then there is the civil liberty, that is right guaranteed by the Constitution, just like Lois said, the right to life, right to religion, and even right to be voted
association,
in, rights of association,
freedom of
and
speech,
so many of those things. Then the independent judiciary, this is necessary to ensure the rule of law. You know, independent judiciary means the judge can be independent in decision making or coming out with what the justice system is saying, and he should not be corrupt in a way that, you know, he will favor or he will be against one of the people that he's representing or he's bringing out the law to. Then the organized opposition party, which we have, if we are to name most of our political parties today, we can name them, but you know, mostly just 2 are recognized, or 2 to 3 are mostly recognized in Nigeria. Then we have the rule of law, which implies the creation of laws, their enforcement, and the relationship among legal rules themselves, which should be regulated so that no one, including the most highly placed official, is above the law. Then we have the citizen in a democracy have not only rights but also the responsibility to participate in the political system. That's to be voted for, or to vote for, or to even recognize a political party and register in. Now we have these practices in Nigeria where people, you know, elect their representatives more in the, if you look at it, even in the federal government, even from the executive to the legislative, and even to not judiciary now, the 2 chambers, yes, in the legislative, the Senate and the House of Representatives. Yes, House, because judiciary is not mostly done that way. Then we are supposed to have the civil liberties, where you have the Constitution guarding you, the right to life, right to so many things. But why I said we don't really practice, we practice it. It seems as though we practice it, but we don't entirely practice it. We practice the dictatorship or the military. Was it the military that you said? It's because these characteristics of democracy are being neglected in a way. Yes, we elect representatives, but most times we vote, but the votes are not counted. You see, it counters it. Then secondly, there should be civil liberties, but now we have people dying for religion, or we have people killed for religion purposes. Because if you look at it, Nigeria is becoming so religious in a way that you feel we practice the religious kind of system of government. I don't know if there's any like that, but it's becoming, you know, which we are supposed to practice democratic system, but now it's religious. Because if not, how can somebody be killed in a state or in a country and nothing is being said about it? It will start maybe from a broadcast, that if there's any broadcast from the executive powers, then maybe a tweet, and that will be it. And we've seen so many of that, you know. So I don't think our civil liberties, you know, are being permitted for us to really enjoy. Then is it the independent judiciary, where we have so many influences, you know, from the people in position which influence the justice system, or the powers that are supposed to be out there. Then I think one thing that we do well is the organized opposition party. that one we really recognize parties, then we put them into a systemic structure, and we have like all these parties, which I said we can start listing them out. Is it the rule of law? Sometimes we see even the people that are supposed to give the people that give the law, or they are supposed to even practice the law, they are the ones breaking it. Most times you see maybe at the traffic maybe on the road where there is the traffic and the red line is there, then you see a convoy passing, or you see the police truck passing, or you see is it the road safety, you know, these are the people that are supposed to put checks on people to know that, okay, the rules are being observed, but they're the ones breaking it the most. Then is it the okay, I've said the rule of law, then the right and responsibility to participate in the political system of government, vote and be voted for. You see, these are the characteristics of democracy, but how we practice it is so different that they are more of personalized opinions of people, more of someone being in government, or just because, I think you said this, just because the democracy is for someone or for people to come and be voted for. There are some people that don't even know what is good for them. There are people that don't even know what is good for the country, and they see it as a means to make money, or this they see as a means to take power into their hands.
You're right, Joyce. You see, you just explained the reason why I said, you know, we are just using the name democracy because that's just the global acceptable definition. And then look at the characteristics that you mentioned, you know, that, you know, comes with the name even democracy. But we just pick the name democracy and just pick one that suits us. That is the one that you can vote and you can be voted for.
Yes.
And we just relax on that. Okay, you are voted for to do what? To represent your people. But you just said something now. It's more like a personal thing now, that someone will just feel simply because I have this money to vie for this office, so let me canvass for your vote. Once you vote me, it's my own personal interest. Now it's me now and my immediate family. That is why you find out, you know, when people are involved in governance, that is when you will see all of these things that you mentioned. It's not that you will not see them happening, you know, breaking the rules of the game, you know, issue of corruption. They will be there, but they will be minimal. In the sense that you will find that the larger community are observing what is right because they are involved. If now we said all of us have agreed that if we are going out from here, we have 3 doors, but this is the door that we have agreed, the 2 should be shut. And that is our agreement, we agree. Then that means for us to follow that rule, it will be easier than somebody will just come and say, okay, from now henceforth, the 3 of you, if you are going, that's the door you will use. And possibly maybe there are certain things that are not really in place using that door, that maybe at the end of it you can injure yourself or something. But now somebody is saying, because I'm in charge, that is the door that you will use. So you find out it will be difficult. Yes, you may use the door, but it will be like you are just being forced, simply because you are thinking, if you don't do that, something will happen. Definitely there will be a penalty. So you see now, the people are not really involved in the governance, because we have people that are representing us from in the National Assembly, the House of Representatives, we have the Senate. In the Senate, you have 3 from each state, depending on the zone, like Southern Zone, Central Zone, and then the Northern Zone. You have 3. But House of Representatives, it varies, because you have some that are representing 3 local government, 1 member House of Representatives. One person is representing one local government. Some you find out is 3 or 4 that are representing one local government. It depends on the number, you know, and the geographical mathematics, you know, that our then those who create all these zone and then constituency and the rest, they know how they did the calculation. But even at that calculation, you will see that some people mastermize that even at that, some people are not being treated fairly. In let's take Plateau State, for instance, you know, where we are, Plateau State, Nigeria. We have 17 local government. You have a federal constituency that you have 3 local government. One person is represented. And in the same plateau, you have 1 local government that 1 person is representing. And since the inception of this democracy, since 1999, is 1 person that has been representing since then. Because he is deeply rooted. Nobody can uproot him in the eyes of men. You understand? So until, okay, now you will say, okay, why is it that to some is 3 local government? Because you expect to see fairness. You expect to see justice. You expect to see all of this right that we are talking. You're supposed to see them playing. Rule of law. Now you will say you have a leader, either a governor or a chairman of a local government or a president, that a court will give an order, and then you see that leader countering that order, and you begin to wonder, what are we really practicing? And then that nothing will happen. Even the courts don't even have right, you know, to act on that violation. So you begin to say, are we truly practicing democracy? So I just feel yes, we can say it's just a baby democracy. If you count it from the 1999 till date, is around 21 years, you know, of interrupted democracy. So we will say we are growing, and we are hopeful. Like, what is truly happening in the outer world, the people that really are practicing democracy as it is, we are hoping and we are trusting God that we'll move to that level, and then people, our youth, our leaders will begin to see reasons why these things should be played by the rule.
You know, it's just somehow like we are trying to see how we can grow in this democracy, and every day you wake up and you see things are really going down. Like, we're really depreciating in every aspect of our governance. Like, when you look at the executive, you look at the judiciary and the legislature and all of that, you see a lot of injustice happening, and then people are out there asking questions, what is really happening in the country? Like, now, like, killings has become something that is just a norm. Every day you wake up, you see bad stories on the papers, or you hear them on the news, and after a week people will talk about it, and then everything is back to normal, and then we are just there, not even looking at the way forward. You will cry out to the government, we will talk and say a lot of things on the internet, the social media, of course, because the Twitter is one of the major arena where we see this government, top government officials there, and then people come out to voice out their opinions and all of that. But at the end of the day, we don't even see all of these things happening. People are not even brought to book. The justice system is just, we wonder what is really happening there. Like, just like you said earlier, when something happens, like a top government officials does something, violates the law, and then he's been ordered by the court, just one phone call would annul everything. It won't even make any sense again, and then people will start questioning and asking questions. So like, we have been asking questions and we haven't gotten answers. Now we're the election period is still ongoing, like the processes and all of that, and people are really standing and saying they want a proper someone that will come and help this country to come out of all these chaotic situations that we're in. So this democracy, it's high time, I think, we not hide under the umbrella of the democratic system, but then do what it says, like the freedom to life, the freedom to express yourself, our
civil liberties
we should be able to express them. There are times that you can come out in the night and then nothing, you're not even scared. But now, even in the morning, during the daytimes, you can't even come out, like you can't even have that guarantee that at the end of the day you go home safely. And so many things are just not right, and they're not going well. So we're just talking democracy, but really democracy is really not working in this country that much.
And I think democracy is one major factor in which there are so many vices in Nigeria. If you Google, is it safe to travel to Nigeria? Just Google it. They will tell you no, it is not, because there are kidnappers, there is the bomb attack, there are the bandits, there is the unknown gunmen, and I see now they are abbreviated as UGM. And I wonder if we've accepted them so much that they are now UGM, you know, unknown gunmen. Then is it they strike? So many of these things. Google will tell you no, do not travel to Nigeria. And you know, democracy is a beautiful, or the system of government that should be practiced, but there are so many roadblocks to the practice of democracy in Nigeria, and one is corruption. What do I mean by that? When we say corruption, sometimes we look at it in the money aspect of it. No. And when we say corruption, or when we say Nigeria is corrupt, we look at it from top to bottom. No, we have to look at it from bottom to top. And why do I say that? There is a foundation before any leader is elected into position. There's a foundation, you know, before any structure is constructed. Let me give you examples. For example, in Nigeria, where there are things that happen that you might have a case, like Sola and I can have a case, then maybe I'm the one at the wrong side of it. I know that definitely I'm the one that, you know, is wrong. When I go to the police station and I bring a police, you'll be carried away. Even without evidence, even without even hearing anything first, you'll be carried away, maybe put behind the counter, and maybe because I have the money, the resources. Because first, sometimes they will tell you they don't have fuel in their cars. Sometimes they will tell you they don't have the capacity, you know, and if you are able to come out, if you're able to sponsor the trip back and forth or whatsoever, you'll be put there, you'll be charged, so many of these things. And if I say deal with this person, this is what he did, you will be dealt with. And God will, if God wants to save you, that's the time that maybe evidence will come out or something will happen that you'll be found innocent. But imagine being dealt with before those evidence will come out, you know. And sometimes because these people are in uniforms, they feel they have the law in their hands, that they can treat you anyhow. They can treat the normal citizens anyhow, a normal citizen on the street, like you're supposed to give them the respect that they don't even deserve. Because first of all, I know they deserve the respect, but they should be, at least they should know that, okay, they are the carriers of these laws. They are supposed to observe it first before any other person. But you see them breaking it and they ask you to respect that. Tell me, is that not corruption? You know, it starts from there, and that's the grassroots. That's just number one, talking about our paramilitary, or let's say, let's leave it at the paramilitary, which is a combination of the police, the military, and civil defense and all other people. If you look at that, and that's the justice system, then is it also in other facets of life? Look at it. Every other place is corrupt in Nigeria at all levels. Even if you are looking at the government, from the state or from the local government to the state to the federal government, there is corruption in all levels. Or even if you are looking at the ministries, you know, set to check and balance so many other things, or to take care of the welfare of the people, you will find corruption there. But when we talk corruption, we always look at presidency. We always look at government officials. But what about us? It starts with us. You can't. It's not automatic that, okay, you are not corrupt, you're not a corrupt person, then you find yourself in the position of a leader tomorrow and you start being corrupt. No, there is definitely a foundation, you know, that was grooming you to be that kind of person. And you know, power also corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. There's how they say it. When you are given the power, you know what rules the world: power, fame, and all these things. When you're given the power, you start thinking, oh, I have the power, so I can do this, I can do that. It is my own opinion. That's why I said personalized opinion from the beginning of how I started the discussion. No, it's not. Sometimes it's not all about you. Most times it's about the welfare of the people that elected you into that position. But when we're given the power, we feel, okay, it is now my duty, or it is now my birthright. You know, just like the example you give where you see one representative from the beginning of democracy, the person is still in power. What are you doing there? It's not your father's position.
And you're not even productive.
You are not productive. There are some people that even the community keep electing that person to be in position because they have the fear that if we change this person, there's some benefits that we will stop having. You know, this person brings job, this person brings recommendation, this person does this, does that. And they don't really have the faith, or they don't have the trust in other people. So they are scared of changing this person. So the person has been there right from the beginning of democracy till now. Then some, again, is not, just like you said, they are not even productive. But because of the absolute power they have, they rig the election that they must be there, and we are not doing anything. What are you doing? It's just about you and your family members. I don't think that's a practice of democracy. You know, so we are supposed to have the power to elect and to be elected. If you are elected, that means that you are giving a trust. That yes, you provide welfare to the people. And if you are talking welfare, because I've been mentioning welfare, what does that mean? Electricity, good roads, water,
health,
infrastructure, health, all of these things. You are supposed to bring it to your community. But some people will tell you these are not their responsibilities. Okay, if they are not your responsibility, you are in the representative. What are you supposed to do? Represent your people.
We're talking corruption. I remember the story of, I think, one of these northeast states that there's this director that has there was employment during one period like that, and this man was employed, but he wasn't even called upon to take the job. He didn't even know that he was employed, and then his name was on the payroll for over 35 years, I think. And it was when maybe they changed the director or something that they checked, and all this issue of ghost workers came up, and this man, they've been paying him, and he has not even been seeing the money for over 35 years. You see the kind of corruption we have in our government systems. Even some of those private places, you see a lot of corruption, like corrupt practices are happening. So, like you said, it's not just about
the government.
The government. It's everywhere.
Let's look at it even in school. The student union government. Electing a president or being, I don't know, the positions involved in it. We have the DOS, maybe Director of Socials, we have the SUG president, we have
the speaker, you have the treasurer.
You understand? They start, corruption even starts there. That's in the SUG, that's in the university where it's supposed to be the basic learning environment for us. That's the place that it shapes us. If you look at most of our leaders, they started as SUG president or they started as Director of Social or something in the student union government. You understand? Then that's why I said it's the foundation, because they are used to rigging it. They've rigged before, or they became so corrupt with so much power. They feel okay, now I'm going into the bigger society. This is what should be done. And you know, the practice of democracy, just like I said, is not in the wider government. SUG too, they practice it, and that's why there are elections. That's why you are voted for, and that's why you can vote for someone. Yes.
And then the issue of godfatherism has taken a whole lot of our electoral processes. We see, like you said earlier, some people have started being members of the house for a couple of years till when democracy inception.
For donkey years, not even couple.
They are still there. Why? Because they have people that will stand in for them, even if they are not even they don't have the capacity. They will still be there because they have somebody that is there to stand in for them. So even in some places, you will see all these things happening because why? You have somebody that can stand in for you. Okay, even if you don't win the election, they will rig it.
Law
when
is
you're
a
not
very
even
good example. It just reminded me of something that happened recently in these campaigns that are happening, because we are in the period of campaign because of the upcoming general election. One of the presidential aspirants said our current president gave up, that he came out the first time, he campaigned the first time, he did not win, the second time he did not win, and is it the third that he did not win, then he was like, no. Then he even cried on national TV. Then he took it upon himself, visited him in his village, and he said, no, you are going to be president and I will do it for you. And he said he brought him into power, and he did this, he did that. I can mention him, but it's just in passing that bringing this example. We see the problem of godfatherism. Now he puts that person in to become president. He put the person in position. What is he expecting? He's expecting the person to stand for him too, to be president, because he is saying he brought a lot of. He's so controversial that he has so many things to say, even to the Ogun State governor, even to so many people, where he said, okay, I made you, you know, and he goes to the length of calling them this thing, because he feels he has so much power that, okay, he's a king maker, and now he wants to be king, and he can say all these things, even to a sitting president, president that is in position, and you are saying all these things. You should know godfatherism is a disease in Nigeria, because I did this to you and you must do it. That's just one aspect of godfatherism. There are some people that have the good conscience, they have the good heart for Nigerians, that okay, they feel when they go into position, these are the things I will do, but because of the way they got into power, their hands are tied behind their backs, that they can't do anything. They only do the biddings of the godfathers. If they want to maybe bring electricity to a community, what is a godfather saying? No, I don't want electricity. I want you to do this. I don't even want you to do anything till what I say. And you find so much of these situations in Nigeria, because you are put into power, or someone put you into power, you know, you have to do the biddings. But if the votes are being counted, if you know that, okay, yes, you are this is the choice of the people, and we're the ones that put him there. This is you hear our voices, you hear that, okay, we want electricity, we want this. I think you will do it, because there's nobody that is behind you, controlling you. If you can practice democracy in the clean definition of democracy, I think things will start working in Nigeria.
You talk godfatherism. If you look at it in another way, you won't say godfatherism is bad. It's just like the way people use it, or they attach certain negativity to it. What is wrong today, Joyce, if you have the money and you mean well for your community, and you look at somebody that maybe is just a graduate, or you know his humble beginning, and you know his antecedent, and you know what he can do, and you groom him to be a better person in the society, and you push him out there to do the right thing, what will you call that?
Mentorship.
You see, the difference is that those people that are now given that title of godfatherism, yes, carry the title, but push them to do the right thing. You can still be godfather in pushing people to do the right thing. You get my point.
It's just that the godfatherism term has been abused to mean something else, and that's why I said mentorship.
Yes, that's it. So you see the angle, but you look at it. It's just that you know, our own practice is in the reverse. Look at the Second Republic, you know, 1979, you know, during Shehu Shagari regime. You know, what were they accused of? They were accused of corruption. That's the number one, that the military then accused them. And it will surprise you that is the same president of Federal Republic of Nigeria that toppled that government in the name that government
was corrupt.
And he came. And now they have given him the power. Now he's not a military officer. He came as a elected democratic president of Nigeria. Can you compare what was happening then during Shagari and what is happening now? In the issue of insecurity, in the issue of rule of law, in the issue of corruption itself.
Economy.
Even education.
You know, education.
Economy,
Now, as we speak, you know, lecturers are on strike. And nobody is saying anything. As a president, all you talk now is somebody that will take over from you. All that they are saying is who are the delegates? Where are their houses? How can I get their contact?
How much will I give them? What will I buy for them? How many Prado jeeps will I give them?
You understand? Now all the attention, you know, has turned to that direction. So you begin to see even the response of our leaders towards our even issues, our common issues of life. It will baffles you, and you start wondering, did I really elect this person? Is this person really electing me? Because if you look at it, you know, sometimes it's our actions that will tell. Now, there are so many issues when it comes to the judiciary that are pending. There are so many rulings. If you talk about the Azizaki ruling, the court already have ruled that they should release him. He's still there. He's still there. And then you can name them. They are uncountable. But I just mentioned one. And then you look at the body language of the commander-in-chief and you begin to ask, then that means anybody that is down will start acting that way, because he will feel the overall boss, this is the way he's acting. So even if I act otherwise, otherwise nothing would happen. And it continues, like you said, from the grassroots. Now look at it, somebody will just give you 10,000 naira and say, please share the 5 of you. And then he will now pick 5,000 naira and share plus Imo, and then keep 5,000 and add to what he will get in sharing that. And when it comes to the issue of corruption, that person will be the first to start criticizing the sitting either governor or president or local government chairman. But you look at it that there is something that's supposed to come to you from the chairman and he's not giving you. So you are waiting for him to give you something to share to other people that are down there, and you begin to feel like when you do this is normal, because even the chairman is doing. So nothing is wrong. So you just feel, we just make it to be normal. So even the leaders, that so-called leaders that we elect, some, not all, you know, are acting the way our body language is suggesting to them. That's why some people will just tell you, when you talk about youth and you talk about leadership, that they say they want to take over, they want to make this country good, they will say, all you need, give them data and give them topic to keep on fighting themselves on social media, and that's all, while you keep stealing the money. You see? So I think it is high time. Yes, we are growing. We are not saying we lose hope, you know, in what is happening in this country. But when you look at from the military era, what they said, when they accuse the democratic government then that they topple, you know, you will just find out, yes, there is control on certain things. But if you look at even the money that the military then, let me say, took small, you know, you will just see that you are in the middle, thinking, should we just continue with the military
regime?
You know, Sambo, gone are the days where democracy was a big practice in Nigeria. I used to have hope, or I used to, like you said, we are growing. I would say back then, where we had the regime of Obasanjo, Yaradua, the brief Yaradua, Goodluck, and okay, who was there again?
That was it.
Then
Buhari.
aside this present administration,
okay,
or the Obasanjo and the rest, I felt okay, that's where democracy was growing in Nigeria.
Yes.
But in this regime, I feel democracy has taken a seat Like he's waiting for the administration to be done for it to progress. Why did I say that? This, if you look at in comparison to the beginning of democracy, even to Obasanjo regime, where there were so many welcome ideas. It was in his regime we had the internet, you know, and so many people now still call it the Obasanjo internet, you know, then to the Yaradua, Goodluck Jonathan, and now in comparison, look at it, the insecurity has heightened. Education system, have we ever had a long ASU strike like this? I think this
like
one, there is no end
came
limit.
in 2 years, or in 1 year you have like it came twice. The
Back to
2020 COVID-19 came and it took the whole of it. Last year they were still, and then we're talking about
and this is not to criticize the administration, but it was so sad for the president to come out and say he was not in the know that ASU were on strike. It's baffling. Like I said, gone are the days where things will happen in Nigeria. Maybe there is an attack or something happens that the president will come out and give a broadcast. Like as children, then I remember our parents will always, you know, remind us by 7 the next day there is a broadcast because something happened. And you'd be surprised, this thing happened. Like, wow, you know, maybe insecurity, or maybe you hear about kidnapping, you hear about things like that. You'll be surprised. Like, this really happened. And they always say it in the 9 o'clock news, you know, and there's a catchphrase that always end the news. Like, we were a democratic system of government. We're practicing it and we're growing it in it. But now things will happen and you don't even hear any broadcast. Like, we're so used to it that we don't even look forward to it. We're so used to it that we feel nothing will happen. It was it not just when that where was it on Sunday? Yes, on Sunday, that was it Oyo, a Catholic church, or Ogun State? Is it Oyo? Ogun State?
Ogun, yeah.
Where the church, you know, village, was attacked. What happened? The president had a dinner with people, or is it the presidential aspirant or whatsoever delegate in the villa. There was no broadcast. No, it was just more like a tweet. You know, it was just more like, I am sad about this, or I condemned it, and everything moved on. Or is it the Fatima and her children that were killed? What was said about it? Just a tweet or just an Instagram message saying, okay, I condemn this act. Deborah was killed. So many of these things, and we talked about right to life, and we are being killed for religious purposes.
Look at the one in Abuja that they burned.
Yes, the vigilante
guy,
man that was burnt because of blasphemy. And you'll be wondering, okay, are we a religious country or we're a democratic country? Because things will happen even. And we have leaders that we entrusted to take care of.
You know, when you talk about leaders, we're expecting to see leaders taking responsibility. You know, look at what happened. You know, the issue of the massacre. The governor was in Abuja. He was in that meeting, but he has to cut that meeting short, and he flew back to his state.
Yes.
He went down to where the thing happened. That same yesterday, he left Abuja.
And he promised that they will be brought to
that is a leader. That is how we in fact, it will surprise you maybe throughout his campaign. This is his second tenure. But it will surprise you that throughout his campaign, his first tenure, now the second tenure is okay. Not rounding up, but this is his second tenure that he will not come back again. Maybe he has never visited that village.
Yes.
But look at it, because of this thing that happened, he said, no, these are my people. You can't say because they are in outskirts, because they are in a village, so their life doesn't matter. Look at how he take responsibility. And he went there, he saw not sending somebody or his aide to say,
some people should
go and give me a report what is happening. He went there himself before coming back to Abuja. That's how we're supposed to see our leaders respond, because these people voted them into power. We vote them, so we're supposed to see you acting like, yes, you care. Yes, you know that.
Even if you do not care, it's your responsibility
as the elected someone that has been elected to that position. Like, it's high time the government wake up to do the needful. Like, we can't continue like this as a country, because if we continue like this, I wonder what will happen at the end of the day. So many things, people are on edge, and a lot every day people cry and ask God for, like, God is not asleep. God is not asleep. Like he will definitely do something, because even if you feel today you're in seat of authority and then you don't care about other people, tomorrow you don't know where you will be, and probably the next thing it might be one of your relative or your family member. Who knows? So it's high time that things start taking shape in this country. Like you said earlier, I remember I've said this before, when I would gist with my mom and she would tell me how things were in those days for them. When they would go to school, it was free. Education was free for them, their school fees, transport, everything was made available for them at that point. That was when our democracy was actually growing. But at the end of the day, we find now, like we've been saying since, also have been on strike for over how many months. We don't even know when this thing will end. And students are just out there, the youth especially, are out there not doing anything, most of them giving so much trouble to their parents. And now elections is coming closer. They will start using them as stocks and all these things. So a lot of things, and I feel somehow I even feel like it's intentional, because they want to use them for such purposes.
And you know, in comparison to the military regime, I'm not saying military is better than the democratic system of governance, but in comparison, like back then, who are you to be a bandit? That's in the military regime.
Yes.
You will be cleared. But now we even have them in forests that even the sitting governors can even identify and say, okay, they are in this forest. And you are a person in position.
Yes.
You are the caretaker of that community.
Yes.
And you are saying that.
You are in this country. Sometimes back early this year, that they went to NDA and kidnap a military officer. Come on, just think of it. How would you start thinking? You can't dare that, because that alone just show the laxity that even the government are not in charge. Because they are trying to tell you that if you talk about NDA, that is one of the prestigious, set of a military setting that people are looking up to. That's where people from other countries in Africa
even feel safe.
Yes.
If you are in that
before even that happened,
that's where
we remember the issue of the bombing. They bombed the chapel there. So what are we even saying?
So many, if we are to talk about insecurity in Nigeria, it has heightened up to the extent that you feel, are we really practicing a democratic system, or what are we practicing? Then is it the high cost of living in Nigeria? If you compare it from the beginning till now, we are now spending so much in buying so little. Like what you are being paid, even as a civilian or a public officer, what you are being paid doesn't even cover up for the things that you buy in the market. How much is meat in the market? How much is foodstuff in the market? Or how much is even your children's school fees? The law is
not even talking about lights, talking about water, like a lot of things.
Like we're not even enjoying the dividends of democracy. And is it unemployment? So many youths are at home, unemployed. Okay, even the ones that want to be entrepreneurs, they don't even have the enabling environment. There are no resources, there are no infrastructure, there's not even electricity
to support what you are doing. Yes,
your ideas will come when you see electricity. We don't even have the electricity, and so people will come out and boast and say, okay, in their regime this is what they did in their regime, and you celebrate things that that is your responsibility, something they are supposed to do. And that's why I always say authority is not leadership. You can be in power, but you are not a leader. You are just there leading as a picture. Your time will come and go. There are some people that if you ask me to name or to remember, I will not even remember because they did not do anything. Ask me who was the governor of this person in this state by this time. I will even remember, because the person did not do anything. It was just for him, his family. It was more like a traditional rulership. It's just me, my family, and okay, who will succeed me when I leave. And that is what democracy is how democracy is practiced now in Nigeria, where the president, when you are going down, you have to bring up somebody to mention
even
that,
the governors are doing the same thing.
This is the person that should succeed me.
Okay, now look at it. All the governors now are retiring to Senate. So I begin to wonder, how will our Senate
and this is
look like?
It should be a topic on its own, because that's more
honestly,
development plan.
For all the governors, once you are retired, you have finished your 2 tenures, you're not coming back, you just descend, or you ascend to the Senate and continue like
and talk about
sitting and sleeping.
Talk about social political inequality, that a particular region will feel that they are the ultimate. They will decide what will happen. Without them, nothing will happen. Like some people feel it, like you mentioned earlier, somebody said that he is right now because he did this, he did that. And some people will tell you that ever since, since 1960, this country have been handed over to them. They are the one in charge. They are the one to decide all of these things. And then you begin to see even their response toward the democracy, is negative, not what they are being handed over. So you begin to wonder what kind of democracy we are really, really, really practicing.
And it's shocking when you see them on maybe live broadcast or something, when they are being interviewed and all of that, and they are proudly saying, if it's not me, this thing will not happen. If it's not me, you will not become president. Like it's something. We say we are supposed to elect these people. Why is it that some particular tiny fraction will come out and say, if it's not me, you wouldn't have been president. If it's not me, you wouldn't have been governor? Like, that's not democracy.
And that's why we need to be well informed about democracy, even the system in Nigeria. And you as a youth in Nigeria, you have to be informed. You have to be well educated about it, because we are the future of Nigeria. I don't know, I will always say I'm the leader of tomorrow. I don't know for anyone that is watching, if you don't believe that, you are on your own. But I will always tell people, power cannot be handed over to you. You must take it, and in taking it, you must be enlightened. You must be educated about the system and how things are done, and you must be prepared. You must be groomed. You can't just wake up one day and say, okay, you want to be the governor of this state, without having any preparation first. Why do people come back in power all the time? It's because of the simple excuse that, okay, they have the experience. This person is experienced, he has been there, he will still do it, let's just give it to him. There's nobody. The youth have been shouting, okay, we need someone that will represent us. They did not bring out anybody to say, okay, this is our representative. No, they've been insulting the old ones. They've been saying, okay, this person cannot even stand, this person is tribalistic. But who is your representative? We do not have. You have to know the advantage and disadvantage of democracy first, before you even know how to rule. And talking about the advantage of the and disadvantage, I would like to read something. The advantage of democracy. In a democracy, people expect the government to work for their welfare. That's talking about bringing electricity, development of roads through the provision of housing, employment, health, education, and all of that. Then if there are conflicts, democracy gives room to resolve the conflict. Then democracy helps in improving the quality of decision making. Then decision is not just from one person. If you decide on something, or if this decision, then people can be, brought together so that it can be finalized. The dignity of all individuals gets enhanced due to democracy. In democracy, the governments are accountable, legitimate, and responsive to the expectations and needs of the citizen. Disadvantage: as democracy is based on electoral competition, it leads to corruption. You know that already. So what can you do differently when you're given the position? Elected government representatives end up making bad decisions, and they do not understand what decision is taken is the best interest of the people. Like I said, sometimes it's personalized opinion, or you just feel, okay, this is the decision that should be given. But if you understand the system, if you understand what democracy entails, you'll be able to groom yourself to be a leader tomorrow with a difference. And that's why we need someone that will lead Nigeria, so that we can start benefiting from the dividends of democracy. Before your final thoughts, I would like to take some comments from Facebook. This is from DT Golshaka. He says, timely topic. And we have from Paul Samuel: mentally, the president has signed out as president, in quote. Our democracy will continue to be nascent, albeit useless, as long as we have people that believe they have insert and remove occupants of offices as high up as the office of governor and president. An individual shouldn't be as powerful or more powerful than the system. The National Assembly, which should be the backbone of democracy, is rubber stamp, aka collect ink and press. Anyways, Nigerians aren't angry yet. When we are, we know what to do. Good morning. Thank you very much for the comments. Your final thoughts before we...
I still just want to emphasize on the issue of us knowing our rights and knowing the nitty-gritty of democracy. I remember, I just want to say this thing quickly. My sister told me about something that happened to her on the queue on ATM, and then this man came and was shouting, "I'm a uniform person." And she was like, "I don't care about you being uniform, but I know my rights. If I know..." So we have to know our rights. We have to know, be enlightened about this thing, so that even when people come with unnecessary promises to us, as they always do, we will know how to counter that and how to be better in the next election coming.
Well, I think the time to act is now. Particularly now we have seen so many regimes, and we have tested a certain years of uninterrupted democracy. I just feel the youth should go out there, get your PVC, be enlightened, know what you're supposed to vote, because democracy is for the people. If we are all out that we need a change, definitely the change will come, a positive one. And for the youth that are there, opportunity to flag any, please, when you are there, do the right thing so that they will know that the youth are responsible.
Thank you very much. I just want to leave this to someone that is watching. You should recognize a political party, identify and register, and be a participant in it, because you are the leader of tomorrow and you have the voice to change what is wrong in the society. And remember that we are approaching the general elections, and you know how the system of governance is in Nigeria is always 8 years, even if it is 4 years. Remember that when you put in a bad administration, that is taking 4 or 8 years out of your life, and that is bad already. We've suffered so long instead of enjoying democracy, but we've suffered. The administration has dealt with us so much that this is the time for us to make a change. And remember that it's not all about parties, but the individual that has the welfare or the welfare of the people at heart, and is responsible enough to deliver the necessary benefit to the people, be it electricity, good road, health, infrastructure, and even bringing globalization to Nigeria. So we need that person. It's not all about party or the familiar parties that you know, but it's the individual. And I encourage you today, when it's time to go out to vote, please go out, because we practice democracy, and let it be well practiced in Nigeria. Well, the topic has been Nigeria's democracy, and I had Sambo and I had Lois on the show. I just want to thank the ECWA executive for giving us this platform to bring good news to the people out there. And thank you also to our viewers and supporters and all that commented on Facebook. We're appreciative of your input. Why don't you join us tomorrow for another package?